As developers, and much like many other jobs in the world, AI has changed the way we approach things. And in this episode, we're going to look at one of the different ways that we can use it to assist us. And just as a disclaimer, I'm a big fan of AI and a lot that it can do. However, I do think that there's a real risk where we are just fully reliant on AI and we turn off that cognitive part of our brain. But using it as a tool to assist us, I think can be very powerful. And especially if you're younger, that temptation to just use AI to do all of the work for you, I honestly think cheapens your role as a developer, as well as decreases your value to an employer. So take that with a grain of salt, but it is something to think about. And so basically, we have three different approaches here. When using AI to assist us with development, we can use a prompt, an agent, or a skill. A prompt is basically where you're just typing out what you want the model to do. In general, it's pretty much blind, so it doesn't look up anything or react to a result. It's just going to be more of a conversation. Whereas an agent, if you're using Claude code, that's going to act more like the agent, where there will be some looping that happens. It can actually make some calls or look up some data, but it still requires you to give it a prompt and some more details. And with those details, you then have to explain out a lot of the application structure, or it has to discover what that is. And then we're going to look at, in this episode, a skill. And that's basically a set of instructions or resources that are loaded into an agent that already exists. So for example, we're using Sonnet 5, which is a fairly small model. And I've created an agent called Analytics. And with this Analytics, we can invoke it with the /, and then we can ask a question about our customers or our orders. For example, we can say, how many signups per month this year? And so typically, if you were to ask this to a prompt in a conversation fashion, you're not going to get much returned, or at least nothing accurate. If you were to do an agent, it would have to do many queries to understand your application. What does it mean to be a sign-up? What context are we talking about? Like number of orders, customers, users, and so forth. And so it's going to use a lot more tokens, it's going to take longer, and it has a chance to be less accurate. But when we invoke our analytics skill, that is a list of parameters, which is basically a large prompt that's getting fed into the agent, and it's going to give us a much more accurate result. So you can see it's already running a few shell commands, and then we get our result. And so that's really awesome because we didn't have to give it any context because all of that was already given in the past through the creation of our skill. And so that's what we're going to look at in this episode. And let's have a look at another example where we want to get the paid revenue broken down by the product. And so again, it's going to run some shell commands, which is invoking our Rails application. If you did have production access with Kamal, then you could do something similar, so you're not having to download the production database to your local environment. But again, you have to be very careful with this, because if your skill is not set up correctly, you could end up mutating the production data, and that would be a very bad thing. So definitely use this with caution, as these LLMs, even though they are very powerful, are still kind of like a dog. You can give it a certain level of trust, but it's still a dog, or it's still a large language model, and it can be unpredictable. So we can try another one, where we'll say compare paid versus refunded order counts. And we get some nice charts back with the information that we were looking for. And finally, we can say something like, which country has the most customers? And then we get our result back. So again, this is really powerful, especially if you need to grab some quick analytic data and you don't want to type out and explain the entire application. And these all happen very fast. One, because we are using a small model, but also because the skill that we created gave the context required for these kind of questions. And so within VS Code, you can use the extensions and you can install the Claude code for VS Code, and then you can run the Command-Shift-P on a Mac OS and open Claude code in a new tab. This will allow you to then interact with the agent directly. We can then run with the slash command, the run skill generator, and we can allow bash commands after we review it, which I always look at these commands before I approve them, or I'll tell Claude what to do instead, because you want to make sure that it's not going off the rails or trying to do something you're not wanting it to do. And typically when I'm generating a skill, I would want to use one of the better models like Opus instead of Sonnet, simply because I want the skill to be much better, and the larger model will do a better job at generating that skill. However, when then consuming this skill, I think something like Sonnet would be sufficient. And I don't like using this skill generator much, because it seems to really kind of go off the rails. So I'm going to undo those changes that it made. But in the .claude folder at the root of our application, it did create a skills folder, and within there, I'm just going to create a markdown file called analytics.md. And we can use the slash command model to switch our model. We can switch to Opus or something like Fable, which I haven't tried out Fable yet, but I do hear it's really amazing. But in our case, Opus is going to be good enough. And so we can say to create a Claude Code slash command called analytics for this Rails app. It should let me ask a business question in plain English. For example, which plan generates the most revenue? And have Claude answer it by actually querying the app's data via the BinRails runner, rather than guessing. I can hit Shift Enter to give it some space, and then give it a list of requirements. One of the requirements we can say is formatter with a description and an argument hint for a question about the customer/orders. And with all these requirements, I just pasted some in. So we also have the question itself should come from the arguments parameter. Claude should have 0 built-in assumptions about the data, must inspect the schema first. If it doesn't already know it, then run one read-only active record query at a time, look at the real output, and decide the next query based on that, like a tool calling loop, not a single guessed query. Enforced read-only behavior, and this is an important one because we don't want this skill to be mutating our data. And in this case, we are using the Rails runner, and so we want to prefer the active record query methods over the handwritten ones. And then tell it to cap it at roughly 5 to 6 queries. And then we can give it some direct notes about the data, and let's see what this comes up with. And so Claude definitely knows itself better than I know it, and so it's not the skills folder, but instead, it put it under the commands folder, and it's done. So if we have a look at what it created, it's basically just a really good prompt. The arguments is going to be the question that we brought in, and a lot of the parameters that we gave it, it's putting it in here, but in a way that makes more sense to its model. And so we can test this out with the /analytics, and then we can say how many signups per month this year. And so now it's getting a bit of information about the customer data, and then it's running a query, and from here, it's then generating our chart. And so that's wonderful. In our terminal, we can run the Claude. If you run the brew install Claude, and then dot for the current directory, and that'll launch Claude Code within the terminal. Right now it's using Opus, so we can select our model, and we can change it to something like Sonnet, and then we can do our /analytics and say the paid revenue broken down by product. And it then will run a few commands and then gives us our final result. And so one of the nuances here is that you don't want to give it really complicated questions that have many tasks. If you give it just one question, even if it's a bit complicated, but you're really expecting one result, then you're usually going to have better results. And so these skills can be used for many different things. It doesn't just have to be analytic data, because remember, these skills are really just a very nice and complicated prompt. You could have one where you just select a controller action and then invoke one that generates all the tests around that particular action. You can make one for database health or a migration review. So if you have some unstaged changes and you want to make sure that This migration is backwards compatible before you deploy your code because rollbacks are easy to do if your database changes are backwards compatible, and there's so many other use cases. And so again, this is really just creating a library of prompts that you might find yourself using often, especially if there's a report that some kind of C-level person wants often, but it might be on a particular customer or something. And so the idea always stays the same, but the prompt changes, and you can have it, just generate it quickly with the skill. Well, that's all for this episode. Thanks for watching. For more videos, check out driftandruby.com.